Well, good evening. It's Saturday, the 11th of September. It's just gone 6 o'clock, and we're back for our news programme. And in the news this week, it's Heritage Open Days all week this week. Started yesterday and runs through to the 19th of September. And just to celebrate Heritage Open Days, Dorset Museum is going to be open and completely free for one day tomorrow, the 12th of September. This will give visitors the chance to talk to staff, see their galleries and interactive displays at the museum. Visitors will have the first opportunity to join the museum's curators to explore behind the scenes of the new state-of-the-art Collections Discovery Centre, where they'll be able to find out more about the work going on to move collections back to the museum following the redevelopment. Participants on the tour will also have the opportunity to explore some objects up close in the conservation studio. Tours are limited and booking online is highly recommended due to the expected demand. And the website is www.dorsetmuseum.org. That's www.dorsetmuseum.org. That's Heritage Open Days free at Dorset County Museum in Dorset tomorrow, the 12th of September. Officers from Dorset Police are investigating a suspicious incident in Weymouth and are appealing for witnesses or anyone with information to come forward. The incident occurred at around 11 p.m. on Saturday the 28th of August on Dorchester Road by a bus stop near to the Weymouth Community Hospital. It was reported that a woman aged in her 20s was walking to the bus stop when a man jumped out of some bushes and began following her. The man did not speak to the victim or touch her in any way, but was close behind her and made her feel very uncomfortable. While she was at the bus stop, he was pacing up and down nearby, and she asked two men passing by if they would wait with her for reassurance. She could hear the man asking which bus she was getting, and the passers-by who had stopped to wait with her ended up walking her into town to get a taxi, and she did not see the man again. The man is described as white, around 6 feet tall, and aged in his 20s, with rough skin, stubble, and closely shaven head with black hair. He was wearing a dark grey or black tracksuit. Also, detectives from Dorset Police are investigating a knife point robbery in Weymouth and are appealing for witnesses or anyone with information to come forward. Dorset Police received a report at 10:38 on Tuesday the 7th of September, that's this Tuesday just gone, of a robbery in Chickle Road. It was reported that the victim, an 18-year-old man, was riding his bicycle when he was approached by a man near to the Admiral Hardy pub. The man demanded the victim give him the bike and was reportedly seen in possession of a bladed article. The victim handed over the bike, described as a Trek mountain bike with a blue frame and yellow bars and pedals, and the man rode off from the scene. The offender is described as white, aged in his early 20s, approximately 6'2" tall, and of average build. He was wearing a black hooded top and grey jogging bottoms. If you've got any footage, dash cam footage, or you saw anything, or you know anything about the bike or the other incident, the suspicious incident at the end of August, do get in touch with Dorset Police. The usual number for non-emergency calls, 101, or of course anonymously through the Crime Stoppers charity on 0800 555 111. And of course, it's very important to reinforce that if a serious crime is in progress, then 999 is the number, and 101 is for the less urgent calls and for passing on information to Dorset Police. This week, Solent Coast Guard requested that Weymouth Lifeboat launch to investigate reports of two paddleboarders in difficulties, approximately 1 mile out to sea from Chesil Cove on Portland. The lifeboat was launched at 3:30 on Tuesday the 6th of September and was on scene some 25 minutes later at approximately 3:55. 1.2 miles from Chesil Cove. They found the paddleboarders safe and well and extremely pleased to see the lifeboat. They had been blown by the offshore wind and tied much further out to sea than they had planned. They and their boards were taken onto the lifeboat and were then transported back to just offshore from Chesil Cove, where they were able to get back on their boards and safely paddle back ashore, where they were met by the Portland Bill Coast Guard team on the beach. The lifeboat and RNLI offers the following advice to stand-up paddleboarders. If you can, always go with a friend. It's more fun and they can always keep an eye on you and help you if you get into difficulties. If you're going alone, always tell someone where you're going and what time you'll be back. And don't leave the house without a mobile phone or some means of communication. Bring your phone and take some photos, and make sure you keep your phone in a waterproof pouch, because you can always use it to call for help, but obviously you don't want it to get wet. Check the weather forecast so you know if the weather's going to change. Make sure you are aware of offshore winds and avoid anywhere where the wind is blowing offshore. Wear a suitable flotation device in case you get in trouble, a life jacket or a buoyancy aid. Wear suitable clothing for the time of year so you don't get cold. And make sure you have your paddleboard on a suitable leash so you don't come separated from it if you fall into the water. And if you are launching on a lifeguarded beach, make sure you launch and recover between the black and white checkered flags, and that's obviously the area to use. And make sure, of course, that you know what you're doing, and ideally you get some training before you go out to sea on these devices, so that you keep safe and obviously minimise the workload of the RNLI and the Coast Guard. South West Ambulance is currently experiencing a very high demand in 999 emergency calls across the southwest. This week, or earlier this week, it declared a major incident due to the level of demand, but they've now stood down from this major incident status. So they can continue to help those with the most serious conditions. They urge people not to call them for non-life-threatening emergencies. So remember, 999 is for life-threatening emergencies, such as people stopping breathing or bleeding profusely and that sort of thing. The alternative service for advice on what to do is 111. This is available via your phone and online as well. So if somebody is unwell but it's not an emergency and you want to get advice on the most appropriate services, call 111. Of course, if you call 111 and you do need an ambulance, they will put you straight through to an ambulance and make sure you get that emergency care. Or they will direct you to the most appropriate place to get care. And remember that 999 number for serious and imminent problems, the most serious problems, because if we minimise the number of people calling 999, they will be able to get there more quickly for all those who need it in a real emergency. And if you can get yourself to a hospital, having taken advice from 111, or you can stay at home and get care at home, of course, that minimises the demand on the services. Dorset and Wiltshire Fire and Rescue have revealed that a campfire was the cause of a fire that destroyed 7,000 square metres, massive area, of precious heathland and mature trees earlier this week. It happened in Wareham Forest, yet again I have to say, the same spot where a devastating fire in May last year destroyed hundreds of acres of forest and heathland. Forestry England said at the time it could take the forest decades to recover. Last year's fire was described as one of the most devastating fires in Dorset in living memory, and it was started by a disposable barbecue, and it led to a major awareness campaign in a bid to crack down on fires in the countryside and the banning of throwaway barbecues. However, now it has emerged that the fire on Monday was a very similar occurrence. It was at Decoy Heath, and although it wasn't as big as last year's fire, it potentially caused tremendous damage. It was started after it appeared people went into the woods and lit a campfire, which then spread very quickly in the dry conditions. Crews worked through the night tackling the fire after they were called at just after 3 p.m. on Monday afternoon. Fire engines and support appliances from across Dorset were called to tackle the blaze, and they worked throughout the night, rotating crews. A spokesman for the Forestry England Dorset team said damage caused by the fire earlier this week highlights the terrible impact of careless behaviour. Evidence of a campfire has been found and is thought to be the cause. So remember, if you are going out in these last few weekends of the summer while it's still warm, take a picnic rather than the barbecue if you're going out on heathland and woodland. And make sure if you are using a barbecue anywhere, even in an organised place where the local authority have made barbecue stands available, make sure you put it out before you go home. A cruise ship that has been in Portland had a man die on it recently amid a COVID outbreak, well, rumours of a COVID outbreak. The MSC Virtuosa was set to dock in Southampton docks at 6 a.m, but concerns were raised following rumours and reports of a coronavirus outbreak on board. A number of news outlets have reported passengers falling ill, with the death of a passenger also reported. Customers themselves took to Twitter and Facebook and social media to share their experiences on board. The Dorset Echo locally reported a death on board the ship, but is not confirmed at this time if the death was connected to coronavirus. Dorset police were called to Portland Port at 1:53 p.m. Last Sunday afternoon, the 5th of September, after receiving reports of the sudden death of a passenger. The man in his 70s was on board the MSC Virtuosa, which moored at Portland Port on Saturday, September the 4th. His death is not being treated as suspicious, and his family have been informed. A spokesman for the MSC Virtuosa said that it will be in Southampton tomorrow, that was earlier in the week, scheduled to operate normally both for disembarkation of current guests and embarkation of new ones. Over the past 2 cruises, and in line with the development of the pandemic ashore in the UK, we have all seen and read about recent weeks, we have also seen an uptake in suspected cases of both embarkation of COVID during cruises on board. So basically they're getting cases of COVID on board ship, the same as people are in the community. So that is not to be unsuspected with the current situation. A Tesco's forecourt and garage at Lane House in Weymouth is to close for 3 weeks to undergo refurbishment. Tesco Express, based on Lane House Rocks Road in Weymouth, has posted a sign outside its store to confirm the news. The site will be closed at 11 p.m. tomorrow, and it's set to undergo a refit, meaning the store and forecourt will need to temporarily close. The garage and store will be closed between Monday, September the 13th and Sunday, October the 3rd. The site will reopen at 10 a.m. on Monday, October the 4th. So the petrol station and Tesco Express on Lane House Rocks Road will be closed from tomorrow night through to 10 a.m. on Monday, October the 4th. So if you rely on that place to get your fuel on the way to work or on the way somewhere, make sure that you leave plenty of fuel in your car and you can get to somewhere else to fuel up. Back again to Dorset and Wiltshire Fire and Rescue, and they're supporting a call by the National Fire Chiefs Council for businesses not to overlook fire safety as businesses start to get back to normal and reopen as the pandemic restrictions have obviously been eased. Each year, the National Fire Chiefs Council runs a Business Safety Week campaign, and this year it's been running over the last week and it finishes tomorrow. The Safety Week aims to make businesses aware of their fire safety responsibilities so that they can comply with legislation to keep both premises and occupants safe from fire. Many businesses had to close their doors or change their ways of working during the pandemic. With the economy now reopening, business owners and managers are being urged to review their fire risk assessments and ensure that they reflect the changes made in response to dealing with COVID-19 in the workplace. Dorset and Wiltshire Fire and Rescue have a lot of really useful and relevant information on their website for businesses to help with this. And as well as the advice on meeting the requirements of the Regulatory Reform Fire Safety Order 2005, businesses can ask for help on how to reduce the risk of arson at their premises and how to cut the number of unwanted fire alarms. So pop along to the Dorset and Wiltshire Fire and Rescue website. You can search for that on Google, and there's lots of information there for businesses. Weymouth Town Council are consulting with residents, businesses and visitors and other organisations about enhancing Weymouth's beachfront after proposals for a seafront master plan were approved at a meeting of the Services Committee on Wednesday this week, the 8th of September. Funding for a large Norway spruce Christmas tree to light up the darker winter nights in the town centre during the festive season were also agreed under a separate item at the Weymouth Town Council committee meeting. Improvements to the beachfront will look at what sort of events and activities should be supported, including arts, sports and festivals. Better access and signage for visitors and residents wanting to enjoy the town's jewel on the Jurassic Coast will also feature, along with exploring options for new attractions and hospitality venues for people to use long after the summer season comes to an end. The master plan will cover the beach and promenade from the Weymouth Pavilion Theatre in the south to Overcombe Beach in the north. A range of consultation events are due to be organised in the new year once the consultation has been once a consultant has been appointed to lead on this work for the council. If you want to find out more now, pop along to the Weymouth Town Council website and you can have a look at the briefing for the master plan. And the website address is www.weymouthtown.council.gov.uk//committee/. So there we go. There's a report in one of the committee sections there about the new seafront master plan, looking at the esplanade and the seafront and how to enhance it, make it better, improve information, and make it a more year-round venue for visitors. So that all sounds good news. And finally, in the headlines tonight, students going off to university are being warned to be aware of phone scam issues, particularly HMRC scam warnings, especially for those who are unfamiliar and leaving home for the first time. Ahead of the new university term, students are being warned about HMRC scams, looking to take advantage of those new to the world of employment. Experts at Student Beans have provided tips for students to avoid falling victim of tech scams that may be looking to con them out of money. And here's just a few of those useful tips. And they're as useful to everybody as well as obviously students as well. HMRC does not offer tax refunds via text or email. So if you're due a tax refund, you'll get a letter in the post from HMRC, not a text or email. Don't click any links within text messages or emails. Most scams occur when people click on links that take them to fake websites posing as genuine business or services and then wanting you to put information in. Always be wary if you are contacted out of the blue and asked to send money or give personal information. Check directly with HMRC and don't reply to any text messages you get. And trust your gut. If something feels a little bit strange or it feels like it might be a scam, well, it probably is. Well, there we go. That's the end of our headlines tonight. And the time is just coming up to 18 minutes past 6. Our first story tonight follows our continuing theme of the Weymouth and Melcombe Regis 450 celebrations. And this week, Janet Hall, who's been giving us a different report each week, looks at MPs from Weymouth and what they have done from the town. So we go to Janet and hear about Weymouth MPs.
Until 1885, Weymouth and Melcombe Regis was a parliamentary borough, sending members to Parliament. Today we're looking at two famous members. The first is Sir Thomas Fowell Buxton. He was an MP for Weymouth and Melcombe Regis between 1818 and 1837 and led the campaign to abolish slavery as an economic system. Sir Thomas was a Christian social reformer, chosen as a champion by William Wilberforce to carry on work towards the eventual abolition of slavery throughout the British Empire. Sir Thomas, who had an interest in education of the poor and prison reform, lived at Belfield House in Weymouth, and Buxton Road was named after him. The Thomas Fowell Buxton Monument can be seen on Bincleaves Green at the end of Bincleaves Road in Weymouth. It follows 7 years of fundraising by the Thomas Fowell Buxton Society, whose members felt his legacy should be marked with a permanent memorial. The Society, now a charity with TV chef Ainsley Harriott as its patron, was set up in 2010 to celebrate his achievements. As well as educational work, the vision was to erect this monument, costing around £20,000. A competition to design it was won by former Weymouth College stonemasonry student Peter Wozu, and other students were involved in carving it. Another MP for which Weymouth will always be grateful is Sir Henry Edwards. He was a British Liberal Member of Parliament for Weymouth and Melcombe Regis from 1867 until 1885, when Weymouth and Melcombe Regis ceased to be a parliamentary borough. He made generous gifts to the town. 10 cottage homes known as Edwards Avenue and Edwardsville in Rodwell Avenue, and also properties in James Street, all designed for elderly inhabitants of the borough. The properties are all today operated under the name Edwards Homes and run by Weymouth Town Charities, who run the Sir Henry Edwards and the Sir Samuel Miko charities. You may remember how last week, when we were talking about the Jubilee clock, I told you that when fundraising didn't reach enough to provide the clock itself, Sir Henry Edwards donated one. Edwards died at his home in 53 Berkeley Square after several months of illness. But at the time of his death, he was lauded as the most generous benefactor in the history of Weymouth. And his generosity is celebrated by a statue in Alexandra Gardens on the Esplanade, facing northeast across Weymouth Bay and the beach. There'll be more about Weymouth's 450 years of history next week. Hope to see you then.
Thank you very much, Janet. And if you haven't paid the Thomas Fowle Buxton Monument a visit, well worth a visit there at the Coast Guard station above the road to Bincleaves. And of course, I've got the pleasure of chairing the Weymouth Town Charities that looks after the Sir Henry Edwards Charities and the Sir Samuel Miko Charities. So, yes, Sir Henry Edwards did provide a lot for the people of Weymouth, a lot more than the 32 homes that Janet has mentioned in that report. And maybe we'll hear more about that in future weeks. Moving on to our next story this evening, and it's just gone 6:23. I wonder if you've come across at any time Community Speedwatch. Community Speedwatch caught 335 drivers speeding in a single day during an education and enforcement day of action in Dorset recently. 143 volunteers split into 35 different teams and carried out 48 one-hour-long sessions to monitor speeds on local roads. The teams worked with Dorset Police to choose the locations for their action day and were equipped with radar detection speed guns. 58% of the drivers caught reaching excessive speeds were Dorset locals, and all 335 were given letters of warning. 38 of these drivers also received penalty points on their licence and a fine from officers on board the team. Road Safety Operations Manager Brian Austin said, overall, we have almost 1,000 Speedwatch volunteers providing additional eyes and ears out in the community to help us enhance our intelligence and better understanding locations vulnerable to drivers taking a risk with their speed. The Community Speedwatch Group is partnered with Dorset Police and provides an opportunity for volunteers to work within their community to raise awareness of the dangers of speeding and to help control the problems locally. It's important to say the volunteers do not confront drivers, they just note down the registrations, the speeds they're doing, and supply the information to Dorset Police, who then contact the drivers by letter, warning them that they have exceeded the speed limit and it has been noted. Where it is used, Community Speedwatch is very, very successful. It reduces accidents, it reduces speeds on the roads, and it has been proven to work. And I'm going to share with you now a piece of film from Essex Police, who shared a few years ago now the work that they do on Community Speedwatch in partnership with some of their volunteers.
Community Speedwatch is a group of people, 6 of us, who are all residents in South Woodham Ferrers.
Who come together on average about once a week to record the speeds of vehicles around South Woodham Ferrers. There is a problem in the town, as there is in many towns, where vehicles are exceeding the speed limit, and we want to make the town safer.
I do it because someday there's going to be a really serious accident. We've had several accidents where cars have been gone into that have been parked in the road by speeding vehicles, but at the moment no one has actually been injured. So I do it because I'm part of the community, and I just see that it's a danger, the speed that people are doing. 3 of us that are working at any one time all wear these high visibility yellow jackets. One of us would operate the radar gun. Another one is responsible for writing down the information that we gather, and the third person is taking details of the actual car.
We send these information to headquarters, and headquarters then will send the owner of the vehicle a letter warning them that they were recorded speeding and please keep their speed down, because that's the whole essence of what we're trying to do. We're not trying to catch drivers, we want them to reduce the speed. In this particular location, this is our target hotspot. We've recorded around 20% less speeding vehicles per hour this year against 2 years ago when we started, so that's good news.
One very, very big effect that it's had recently, in January we actually had a SID, a speed indicator device, located in various roads. It's a movable device that goes around the roads and actually records the speed that motorists are doing. I'm sure people are very aware of SIDs now. You get the smiley face if you're doing within the speed limit, and a grimacing face if you're exceeding the speed limit.
There we go. So that's just an introduction to Community Speedwatch. And of course, the important thing to reinforce there is if you volunteer for these schemes, you do not confront drivers. You're just high visibility, you monitor speed, you record the details, and the police follow it up. And the idea is about prevention. It's not about issuing fines. It's about warning people they're going too fast and suggesting they slow down. And the high visibility people in the community stood there, again, getting people to slow down and to keep our roads safe. If you're interested in the schemes operated in Dorset, you can go along to the Dorset Road Safe website, and that's the partnership that works with the police, and that's at www.dorsetroadsafe.org.uk, www.dorsetroadsafe.org.uk, and look for Community Speedwatch. And there are some running around Weymouth and Portland, and I've seen people out doing it. And if you've got some time and want to get involved and keep your roads safer, then that's something useful you could get involved in. Moving on, it's coming up now to 18. It's 6:29. It's coming up to our third story this evening. We mentioned earlier the Heritage Open Day at Dorset Museum tomorrow, which of course the museum has had a massive refurbishment and millions and millions of pounds spent on it. So we're going to return to the museum now. They recently released a film that they put together called We Are the Land and the Land Is Us. The video celebrates the reopening of the museum and brings together the landscapes of Dorset and how they have influenced the story and collection at the museum. From the ramparts of Baden Castle, you're transported into the museum and their Natural Dorset Gallery, where finds from the landscape are on display. Each location is captured with stunning aerial footage as you journey between the land and the reimagined Dorset Museum galleries. So here we go.
We are the land. And the land is us. We are the earth. And it is us. We are the brushes of time. And they are us. We are the changing tides. And they are us. We are the whispered words echoed on the breeze. And they are us. We are the past. And the past is us. We are the future. And this is us. We are the land.
There we go. We are the land and the land is us. And well done to Skylar there for the poetry and the commentary throughout that video. It does really set aside the wonderful scenery we have in Dorset from those aerial footage shots, and to the fantastic resource of the Dorset Museum, reopened now after all that work that's been put into it. So, you know, do pay it a visit. We're really lucky to have the museum and the amount of money that's been spent on it in recent years. And doesn't it look fantastic in that video? The time is now 6:35, and it's time for the national weather. And we're going this week over to Aidan McGivern at the Met Office.
Hello and welcome to the latest update from the Met Office. For most of us, it's looking like a drier and brighter weekend compared to Thursday and Friday's weather. There will be some sunshine by Saturday afternoon and into Sunday. Now, the cloud and rain associated with this pushes south across Scotland during Saturday night. We'll see some cloud breaks emerge across northern Scotland, and some sheltered glens could get as low as 3 Celsius as a result. So a chillier night to come here, and a cooler night in general, despite some cloud remaining. I think temperatures a couple of degrees lower, but still in the teens in many spots. Here's that cloud and rain coming south across Scotland, petering out as it does so. That low moving away, this low quite far away, but, well, it is sending a little weather system our way for later Sunday. But for most, it's a dry start to Sunday, with some sunshine for Wales, the Midlands, East Anglia and the south of England. Certainly a drier and brighter day for northern and western Scotland. Still 1 or 2 showers around. And there'll be further showers, I think, for southern Scotland, northern England and even for Norfolk at times. But we'll get some sunshine, still 21, 22 Celsius. For most, it's a cooler day. And then by the end of the afternoon, Wales turns increasingly cloudy and wet. You can see the rain starting to push in here. Could reach parts of Cornwall or even Devon by the end of the day as well. That wet weather likely to affect other western parts of the UK at the start of next week, with some heavy showers to follow on Tuesday. But that's all for now. Enjoy your weekend. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, Aidan. And a nasty weather front coming in there tomorrow, but fortunately it looks as if it's going to miss us and be a bit sort of further up north, which is really, really good. So the weather for the week ahead, and this is constantly changing, I have to say, since I looked at it a bit earlier today. It was giving rain for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday earlier today. And now it looks like it's just Monday and Tuesday. But it's going to be reasonable temperature between 18 and about 21 most of the week. Sunny spells, cloudy portions during the day, but we might have some rain. Say earlier in the day when I looked, it looked like we're most likely to have rain Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So we could have some showers. But hopefully some of that nasty, really nasty weather is going to be heading a bit further up north, and we'll get some of the nicer weather down south here. And it's been quite a nice day today, actually, and hopefully tomorrow will be as well when we miss that weather system that's coming in. So now looking at our traffic and travel. Now there's not such a good story out there this weekend. On Great Western Railway, there's a bus replacement service between Southampton and Salisbury this weekend, and that is causing a lot of disruption on services in Bristol area, Exeter area, Westbury and Cheltenham. Lots of works going on Great Western Railways this weekend. So you are advised, if you're travelling, to check before travelling. On South West trains, there's also a bus replacement service between Wareham, Bournemouth and Poole tomorrow. So again, that's something to be wary of looking tomorrow. Looking at roadworks this week, Southern Gas Networks are working on Williams Avenue, Hilborn Road and Dorchester Road, Wessex Water, West Hill Road, Stoke Road and Ison Road. Also to be aware, all this weekend, the Seafood Festival is on in Weymouth, so there's going to be more traffic around, more people around, and although it's a ticketed event, it's expected to cause a little bit of extra traffic and people around, so maybe a bit of disruption there. And of course, remember, next weekend we have the Ironman competition in the area. There are multiple road closures throughout the whole of south of Dorset, and it will cause major disruption. So do plan your travels if you need to travel. If you don't need to travel, probably best to stay at home. If you want to know what roads are closed, the easiest way I've found to find out is to go onto Google and type in Ironman road closures, and you get straight away a nice list up of the roads that are closed and the dates and times they are closed. So that's the best way. Just go onto Google Ironman road closures and the information will come up for you. Looking at what's on and the events that are happening. We mentioned obviously tomorrow at Dorset Museum is the Heritage Open Day, free entry. There's also free entry at the Knowth Fort tomorrow for Heritage Open Day as well. Coming up at Weymouth Pavilion, 12th of September, there's That'll Be the Day, 14th of September, the Drifters, and from the 23rd to the 26th of September, there's a Dad's Army play on. Now, if it's anything like the last one that I went to 3 or 4 years ago, I have to say it was absolutely fantastic. The characters were so like those on TV, and the acting and humour was absolutely superb. So if you're a fan of Dad's Army like me, do get some tickets for that and pop along. It will be an absolutely fantastic show. Other things coming up. I mentioned last week the Weymouth Beach Motocross. This is advance notice. That's on Sunday, October the 10th. That takes up the whole of Weymouth Beach, where basically a motocross track is put in on the beach. So that will bring people into the town, and if you're interested, that's something to pop along and have a look at yourself. October the 16th, I mentioned last week also, the Weymouth Gin and Fizz Festival. If you're partial to a glass of gin and tonic or gin and something, then a visit to the Weymouth Gin and Fizz Festival at Weymouth Pavilion on October the 16th will be well worth a visit, I am sure. The time now has just gone past 6:41, and we get to our film section. Now, this week we've got another new film. There's been advance notice released this week of a film called The Matrix Resurrections. It's an up-and-coming American science fiction action. It's a film produced, co-written and directed by Lana Wachowski. It's the fourth instalment in the Matrix film series. Stars Keanu Reeves, Carrie-Anne Moss and Jada Pinkett Smith, and it's where they reprise their roles from the previous films in the series. It's said it's not a remake, it's not a reboot or a reimagining, it is a resurrection after 18 years. The Matrix is back, though not the same as it was left. Shifting release dates cast some doubt over whether the film is actually coming out this year, but they have announced this week that it will be. It's the first full-length, the first full-length trailer is here, and we're going to see it in a minute, and it suggests that The Matrix Resurrections will live up to its original trilogy's legacy of entertaining and challenging science fiction. The new trailer leans hard into nostalgia, but once familiar characters are now seemingly strangers to themselves and to each other. The film will be a joint production by Village Roadshow Pictures and Venus Castina Productions, and is scheduled to be released by Warner Brother Pictures theatrically, that's in cinemas, on December the 22nd this year. So let's have a look. It's The Matrix Resurrections.
Thomas? You seem particularly triggered right now. Can you tell me what happened?
I've had dreams that weren't just dreams. Am I crazy?
We don't use that word in here.
Hi.
Have we met?
One pill makes you larger, and one pill makes you small, and the ones that mother gives you don't do anything at all. Go ask Alice when she's 10 feet tall.
Time to fly.
If you want the truth, Neo, you're going to have to follow me.
The only thing that matters to you is still here. I know it's why you're still fighting and why you will never give up. You don't know me, no?
After all these years, to be going back to where it all started. Back to the Matrix.
There we go. If you like entertaining and challenging science fiction, The Matrix Resurrection, coming out on the 22nd of December. Might be one for you. We don't know too much about the plot yet. The filmmakers have kept it fairly close to their chest, but I'm sure nearer the time we'll get a bit more detail on the plot. So we're coming towards the end of the programme. It's just gone 6:46, and just time to tell you that the regular services at All Saints Church will be on tomorrow at 8 o'clock. And 9:30, which will be live streamed, and 11 o'clock at St Edmund's Church. Remember, we're still running our Year in Gardening at 7 p.m. on Friday evenings. Join Clive Gray there for the work that he's doing in his garden over in Kent. Of course, our quiz is on in a short while this evening at 7:30. The live stream goes up at about 7:15 in just under half an hour. So do join us. And we would love to see you there for our quiz this evening. It's open to everyone, and you'll be most welcome. Of course, if you want to keep up with local events and local news and local programmes for local people by local people, do support our community radio stations. I keep pushing them each week. If you haven't given them a try, please do. Keep 106, Air 107.2 and Chesil Radio. Air 107.2 is particularly for the younger listeners, and Chesil and Keep are there for the rest of us. And Keep in particular has a really wide range of programmes of all different types and styles, and it's well worth a listen. I really enjoy listening several times during the week to some of their programmes. And of course, we will be back here next Saturday at 6 o'clock. Remember that we've got the Ironman happening next weekend, so do be careful if you're going out on the roads next weekend, and maybe plan to stay at home next weekend. But if not, you'll be most welcome to join me at 6 o'clock. If you have any news or any events or any stories for us, remember our email, news@whiteregis.tv. That's news@whiteregis.tv. Or contact us on our Facebook page, White Regis TV Facebook page. We would love to hear about your events, your news stories locally, any fundraising activities that you're doing to share with others within your community. But if not, have a safe week, and I look forward to being back with you next week. Good night.